There is a sound that belongs to no known language family on Earth. A click of the tongue, a pop from deep within the throat, a lateral snap, like a raindrop hitting stone. It is the sound of a language that existed before the pharaohs laid the first stone of Giza, before the Roman road was built, before the compass found its north, before writing was invented, before the very idea of writing had occurred to anyone. Somewhere in the darkness of northern Tanzania, beneath this same sky that watched our earliest ancestors draw their first breath, a small fire is glowing. Around that fire sit perhaps 30 people. No clocks, no calendars, no walls between them and the wild world outside. They are the Hadzabe. Before this day is over, you will follow a hunter into the pre-dawn bush, tracking prey by the angle of broken grass stems and the direction a single bird flies. You will watch a man climb 60 feet up a baobab tree, barehanded, guided by a bird, and discover that their partnership has been honored, unbroken, across 10,000 years. You will stand in absolute darkness as the living call out the names of their dead and witness what happens when those names are answered. And at the end of all of it, I am going to ask you a question you will not be able to stop thinking about. For the next 20 minutes, you are going to live one day with the last true hunter-gatherers on Earth. Today, only 1,200 to 1,500 Hadzabe people remain. To put that number in perspective, a medium-sized university lecture hall holds more people than the entire Hadzabe nation. They are one of the smallest, most culturally distinct indigenous communities on the planet, and they belong to no other group. Genetically, linguistically, culturally, the Hadzabe stand entirely alone. Their language, Hadzane, is what linguists call an isolate. It has no known relatives, no parent language, no sibling tongue. It was not borrowed from Swahili, not related to Bantu, not descended from the Khoisan click languages of southern Africa, despite sharing those remarkable clicks. It exists only here, only with them, passed from elder to child in this very landscape, perhaps for 100,000 years. The Hadzabe live in small bands, loose, fluid, egalitarian camps of 20 to 30 people. There are no chiefs here, no kings, no councils of elders empowered to command. Decisions are made together, around the fire, through conversation. If you disagree with the direction of the group, you leave. You form another camp nearby. No punishment, no exile. You simply go. The Hadza call it voting with their feet. It may be the oldest form of democratic self-determination on Earth. They own almost nothing. A bow, a quiver of arrows, a digging stick, a skin. The land gives what is needed, and what the land cannot provide in one place, they move toward. Their homes are the most honest architecture ever devised. A dome of fallen branches and dried grass, built in a single afternoon and abandoned without grief when the camp moves on. No trees are cut, no forests cleared. The structure returns to the earth naturally within a single season. No footprint, no scar. The land afterward remembers nothing of their passing. That is exactly how they want it. The Hadzabe do not divide their history by centuries or dynasties. They divide it by people. In their oral tradition, the stories passed not in books but in firelight. The world began with the Akakayanibi, the first ones, enormous hair-covered beings who needed no fire and no weapons. They ran down their prey until the animals collapsed from exhaustion. They ate meat raw. They slept beneath trees. They were, in the Hadzabe telling, what we were, before we became what we are now. Then came the Ekshakshanibi, the in-between ones, still giants but hairless. They discovered fire. They began to hunt with dogs. They were the first to practice medicine and the first to dance the sacred Epeme ceremony, the ritual that connects the living to those who came before. Then the Hamakwanabe, the people of recent days. Smaller, more like us. They invented the bow and arrow, they traded for iron. They built the first huts like those the Hadzabe still build today. And now, the Hamayshonebe, those of today. That is what the Hadzabe call themselves, the living continuation of a story that began at the very dawn of humanity. Genetic research has suggested that the Hadzabe may represent one of the deepest diverging branches of the entire human family tree, a lineage that separated from other populations more than 100,000 years ago. 100,000 years. When the pyramids were being built, the Hadzabe had already been here for 97,000 years. Let that settle. It is perhaps 5 in the morning when the first man rises. There is no alarm, no discussion. He simply feels the light shifting, senses it the way a wild animal senses a storm coming, and he is already in motion. Others follow. One by one, the men of the camp disentangle themselves from sleeping children and warm embers. They move with the particular economy of people who have learned that noise and waste are the same thing. There is almost no conversation. What needs to be communicated is communicated in glances. A chin tilted toward the ridge, a nod, the direction of a fresh track, studied and agreed upon in silence. The hunt is decided before a single word is spoken. These are the weapons of the Hadzabe. A bow, carved from the branch of a cordia or fig tree, strung with tendon. Simple, elegant, in the right hands, lethal at 30 meters. And the arrows, tipped with iron points traded from neighboring communities or carved from bone and hardwood. For small game, the tips are plain. But for large game, for impala, for zebra, for giraffe, the arrowheads are coated with a dark, viscous poison made from the boiled sap of the adenium plant. The desert rose, just enough to slow the heart, to bring down an animal 20 times the archer's weight. By the time the horizon begins to lighten, the hunters are gone, single file, moving into the grey-blue dark of the bush, not toward any single destination, toward wherever the morning tells them to go. To watch a Hadzabe hunter move through the bush is to watch 10,000 years of skill compressed into a single body. Every footfall is placed with intention. Weight rolls from heel to ball, a motion that absorbs sound. Arms stay low. The eyes do not fix on any single point. They sweep in a wide, mobile scan, reading the bark of a tree where an animal has rubbed, noting the direction a bent blade of grass leans, registering the movement of birds in the canopy above. The Hadzabe hunter does not track an animal. He reads the land the way you read a sentence, not word by word, but as a whole flowing thing with meaning. Hadzabe hunters have names in Hadzane for the specific sound a dik-dik makes when it exhales in alarm, for the frequency difference between a francolin's warning call and its roosting call, for the exact sound, subtle, unmistakable to the trained ear, of a baboon troop settling into a particular tree versus moving away from it. The bush is not quiet to them. It is the loudest place they know. Communication between Hadzabe hunters during a stalk is extraordinary to observe. A flick of 3 fingers, impala, 3 of them, the track is fresh within the hour. A hand swept slowly left. They move toward the acacia grove. A single low whistle, take the high ground. And then, silence. The group dissolves. Each man peels away to work his angle, moving through the scrub like smoke. The arrow is released with almost no visible effort. A Hadzabe hunter does not fire a poisoned arrow the way a soldier fires a weapon. He releases it, the way you exhale, the way you let go of something you no longer need to hold. The arrow travels. The hunt is not over when the arrow lands. The poison, potent as it is, takes time. Minutes, sometimes an hour. The animal must be tracked. The hunters follow the sign: blood on grass, disturbed soil, the angle of broken stems. They read the suffering of the animal the way a doctor reads a patient, clinically, compassionately, without illusion. And then they wait. This is the part of hunting that no camera can fully capture: the stillness, the patience, the willingness to sit in heat and thorns and dust and simply trust that time is on your side. Because for the Hadzabe, time always has been. While the hunters track prey across miles of open savanna, back in camp, another world is already at work. The Hadzabe women are, in many ways, the architects of the community's daily survival. Their knowledge of this landscape is, in some respects, even more sophisticated than the hunters, because it encompasses not one prey species, but hundreds. Every wild tuber, every edible berry, every medicinal root, every tree whose fruit ripens in which season, in which soil type, on which slope. The tubers are everything in the dry season, when the berries are gone, when the honey is scarce, when the game has followed the rains elsewhere. The tubers remain, deep-rooted, water-rich, starchy. The Hadzabe's insurance against the cruelty of a drought. Finding them is not luck. It is knowledge, accumulated across generations, about the particular shape of a plant's dried leaf above ground in the dry season, the angle of a hillside, the texture of the soil, the specific way the earth cracks above a deep root. The women move as a loose group, never so close that they compete for the same resources, never so far apart that they cannot call to one another through the bush. They talk constantly. The click language flows between them like water, soft and rapid, punctuated by laughter, punctuated by the particular cadence of a long-running conversation between people who have known each other their entire lives. And the children run. They identify insects by name. They know, at 4 years old, at 5, which caterpillars are edible and which are toxic. They know how to read the architecture of a bird's nest and determine whether it holds eggs. In the Hadzabe world, childhood is not a rehearsal for life. It is life. Of all the foods the Hadzabe eat, and they eat many, one stands apart. Honey. Honey is not simply food to the Hadzabe. It is celebration. It is medicine. It is the reward the land offers when you understand it deeply enough to truly listen. And listening is exactly what it requires. That sound, that rapid, insistent chattering in the trees above, is the honeyguide bird. Indicator. A small, unremarkable-looking creature with one of the most extraordinary relationships with human beings anywhere in the natural world. The honeyguide feeds on beeswax, but it cannot open a hive on its own. So it has evolved over thousands of years a partnership with the people who can. When a Hadzabe hunter hears the honeyguide's call, he answers with a specific low whistle. A signal negotiated between species, a contract honored across millennia. The bird leads, the man follows, sometimes for 20 minutes, sometimes for an hour, across miles of difficult terrain, through thorn and rock and heat. To retrieve the honey, he builds a small fire at the base of the tree and uses the smoke to slow the bees. Then he climbs, barehanded, barefooted, without a net or gloves or any protection except the depth of his knowledge, up the rough surface of the baobab. The bees sting him. Of course they do. He does not flinch. He eats some immediately. Sitting 60 feet above the earth, comb dripping from his fingers, bees still moving across his arms. Then he drops a piece of comb to the ground. The honeyguide descends from its branch. Agreement honored. Scientists at Cambridge University studying this relationship found something extraordinary. When Hadzabe honey hunters use the traditional call and response signaling with honeyguides, their success rate in finding honey increases by 63%. 63%. This is not folklore. This is field ecology at its most elegant. Discovered not in a laboratory, but around a fire, passed from father to son, since long before any written record existed. In much of the modern world, we separate childhood from consequence. Children are protected from difficulty, from failure, from the weight of real responsibility. The reasoning is compassionate. The effect, sometimes, is a generation uncertain of what they are truly capable of. The Hadzabe do it differently. A 7-year-old boy here is not playing at hunting. He is beginning to hunt. He is being trusted with a real bow and real expectations against a real landscape that will offer real feedback. The arrow flies true, or it does not. There is no algorithm adjusting the difficulty for him. A 9-year-old girl knows which roots are edible and which will cause harm, because she has been gathering alongside her mother since she could walk. She has made the distinction 1,000 times. Her body knows it. There is no school building here, no curriculum, no standardized test. But the education is relentless, experiential, physical, passed directly from the generation that knows to the generation that will need to know. In this way, the Hadzabe child carries an inheritance that cannot be written down, cannot be stored in a database, cannot be recovered by archaeology if it is lost. They carry it in their hands, in their ears, in the specific way they move through tall grass without making a sound. In a society without refrigerators, without salt, without any technology to preserve food beyond the day it is caught, sharing is not generosity. Sharing is survival mathematics. The Hadzabe practice what anthropologists call demand sharing. If you have food and someone in camp is hungry, they may simply ask, and the deep norms of Hadzabe culture require that you give, not performatively, not reluctantly. You give because hoarding is not only selfish, it is dangerous. It weakens the community, and a weakened community is a dead community. There is no accumulation here, no surplus, no wealth that one person holds while another goes without. This sounds radical from the outside. From the inside, it is simply how you survive in a world without a supermarket. There are also tubers, roasted in the embers until they are soft and sweet and smoky. There are berries. There is baobab fruit, broken open for its tangy, protein-rich pulp. The meal is eaten without ceremony and with complete presence. No one is looking at a screen. No one is somewhere else in their mind. They are here, eating, tasting, talking, entirely and simply alive in this moment. No day in human history has ever been wasted by a person who was completely present. Hadzane uses 4 distinct types of click consonants: dental, alveolar, palatal, and lateral. Each click is a phoneme, a unit of meaning as distinct as the letter B or the letter K in English. But they carry something English cannot. They carry the specific acoustic texture of this landscape, the crack of dry brush, the pop of a seed pod in heat, the exact sharp sound a twig makes underfoot, before you decide it is safe to take the next step. Hadzane is a linguistic island, entirely alone. UNESCO has classified it as vulnerable, not yet endangered, because the children still learn it, still dream in it, still argue in it, still fall in love in it. But the pressure is real. As more young Hadzabe attend Tanzanian government schools, where the language of instruction is Swahili, the hours of Hadzane spoken each day quietly shrink. And language is not simply communication. It is a filing system. The Hadzabe have specific names, in Hadzane, for different soil types, for different stages of a root's growth cycle, for the behavioral states of game animals at different times of day. These distinctions do not exist in Swahili. They were never needed in Swahili. When the words disappear, the knowledge disappears with them. This is how 10,000 years of ecological knowledge has always been kept. One whispered word at a time. The Hadzabe have survived 10,000 years of drought, predators, disease, and the slow expansion of farming cultures pressing in around them. But the 21st century may bring a pressure unlike anything they have faced before. Their ancestral territory, once encompassing thousands of square kilometers of open savanna, has been shrinking for generations. Pastoralist groups, farming communities, mining interests, and in recent decades, commercial safari operations have progressively occupied land the Hadzabe have used since before recorded history began. The mechanism is subtle, and it is devastating. The Hadzabe do not build permanent structures. They do not fence their land. They move, seasonally, fluidly, leaving the ground behind them apparently empty. And empty land, in the eyes of the law and in the eyes of their neighbors, is available land. Pastoralist herds overgraze the grasslands the Hadzabe hunt across. Their cattle drink from the waterholes the Hadzabe have always shared with wildlife. The game animals move on. The landscape is quieter. The bow returns to camp without a kill. This is not a failure of the Hadzabe. It is the consequence of pressure that would have fractured any culture. The kind of pressure that has silently erased hundreds of similar peoples from human memory over the past 2 centuries. Climate disruption has arrived in the Eyasi Basin. The rains come at different times than they once did. Dry seasons are longer. The wild foods, the tubers, the berries, the game, are less predictable than the knowledge passed down across generations was calibrated to expect. And for the first time, significant numbers of young Hadzabe are leaving, finding work in nearby towns, building a different life. Not all of them come back. For a people who carry in their very language, in every click, every word, 10,000 years of accumulated wisdom about how to live with this earth rather than against it, the cost of their disappearance would not be theirs alone to pay. It would be ours. And yet, the Hadzabe do not hold a meeting about this. They do not write a petition. They do not march, or protest, or file a legal brief. When the night comes, when the new moon hides, and the darkness is finally complete, they do something far older than any of those things. They dance. This is the Epeme, the most sacred ritual in Hadzabe life, and perhaps the oldest continuous ceremony performed by any people on earth. It is performed in absolute darkness, no fire, no moonlight, because the belief is that in full light, the spirits can see the dancers' faces. And when a spirit can see your face, the sacred distance between the living and the dead collapses. The boundary must be approached carefully. The initiated men, those who have undergone the Epeme rite, move through the darkness in a specific ancient pattern. The bells on their ankles ring. They call out the names of the dead. And the belief, ancient, unquestioned, felt rather than explained, is that when a name is called in the darkness, that person comes. The ancestors arrive. They dance alongside the living. The border between what was and what is becomes permeable. I want to be careful here about how I describe this. It would be easy and wrong to stand outside this ceremony and measure it against the yardstick of Western rationalism, to call it superstition, to find it, by that measure, wanting. But the Epeme is not asking to be measured. It is asking to be witnessed. Think about what this means, tonight, specifically. The modern world is pressing on the Hadzabe from every direction. Their land is shrinking, their young are leaving, the rains are arriving late, the game is moving further away. By every external measure, a culture is under siege, and their answer The answer of a people who have outlasted empires, famines, and the rise and fall of every great civilization this continent has produced, is to step into the darkness and call the names of everyone they have ever loved and lost. Not as an act of despair, as an act of defiance. In 30 minutes, we have lived one day with the Hadzabe. We rose before the sun. We followed the hunters into the grey-blue dark of the bush. We drove a digging stick into rocky earth and pulled something alive from it. We climbed a tree 60 feet above the ground to reach honey guarded by 10,000 bees, guided there by a bird who has honored this same agreement since before our history began. We fed our children. We cooked our food over open fire. We stepped into absolute darkness and called the names of those we loved, and refused, as this people have always refused, to let those names be forgotten. Before I leave you tonight with the Hadzabe, I want to ask you something. Not a question I can answer for you, a question I want you to carry. The Hadzabe own almost nothing. They have no wealth by the definition our world uses. No savings account, no health insurance, no retirement, no property. And yet, in every piece of footage, in every account from researchers who have lived among them, the Hadzabe laugh more freely and more often than almost any group of people documented on Earth. They share everything without resentment. They argue and reconcile without lawyers. They raise children who are calm, curious, and capable. They know the name of every bird that has ever flown over their camp, the edible quality of every plant within a day's walk, the movement of every star above them, and the names of every person who ever sat by this fire and then left it. So I leave you with this. What does it mean, truly mean, to be rich? And if you had to answer that honestly, in this moment beneath these stars, what would you say? The Hadzabe of Tanzania continue to fight for legal recognition of their ancestral lands. International organizations including Survival International and Cultural Survival are working alongside indigenous communities in East Africa to protect their rights. The Hadzabe language, Hadzane, is documented as vulnerable by UNESCO. It is spoken today by fewer than 1,500 people on Earth.